So, what have we uncovered today about Jungian archetypes and modern relationships? Here's the big takeaway. These unconscious patterns are not your unchangeable fate. Yes, they are powerful forces, but they can be brought into awareness. Once you recognize which archetype is at play in you or in your partner, you gain perspective. Suddenly, the conflict isn't just personal, it becomes something larger, an archetypal dynamic that can be observed, understood, and even transformed. The struggles we face in love aren't signs of failure. They're invitations, opportunities to integrate lost parts of ourselves, both the luminous and the shadowy. Understanding Jung's archetypes won't give you a magical formula for perfect love, but it will give you something even more valuable. Powerful tool to navigate the complex terrain of relationships with more clarity, compassion, and self-awareness. It's a step toward deeper, more conscious, and authentic love. Now, let me ask you something. Which archetype do you feel is secretly running your love life right now? Recognizing it is the first step to reclaiming your inner wholeness. If this video helped you understand yourself and your relationships on a deeper level, leave a like, share it with someone who needs this message, and of course, subscribe for more. Deep dives into psychology, the unconscious, and your inner world. Until next time, keep exploring. Imagine that, as children, we all have basic emotional needs: safety, connection, autonomy, self-esteem, realistic boundaries. When these needs aren't consistently met due to neglect, criticism, overprotection, abuse, we develop core beliefs about ourselves, about others, and about the world. These are the schemas. They're like glasses that distort how we see reality. If you developed an abandonment schema, for example, you might interpret even a small distance from a partner as a sign of imminent rejection, even when it's not. If you have the defectiveness or shame schema, you may feel there's something fundamentally wrong with you, no matter how successful you appear on the outside. Jeffrey Jung identified 18 main schemas grouped into 5 domains: disconnection and rejection, impaired autonomy and performance, and so on. We won't go into all of them today, but here's the key point. These schemas get triggered by current situations that remind us of the original experiences, setting off intense emotions and behaviors, often self-destructive, aimed at confirming the schema or coping with its pain. Sounds complicated? Maybe. But the beauty of schema therapy is how we can see these abstract patterns showing up in very concrete ways in our daily lives. How do you identify which schema is screaming behind your social anxiety or procrastination? Let's look at some practical signs. Schemas don't stay quietly buried in the unconscious. They show up all the time. Here are some examples of how to spot a schema in action. Exaggerated emotional reactions. Did you feel a wave of panic because your boss gave you constructive criticism? That could be the failure or defectiveness schema triggered. Got furious because a friend canceled plans last minute. Maybe abandonment or entitlement grandiosity. Practical example. Maria gets positive feedback at work, but focuses only on a small suggestion for improvement, feeling like a fraud. That's defectiveness. Repeating partner choices. Do you always fall for unavailable, critical, or needy people who need to be saved? That's a strong sign of schemas related to abandonment, defectiveness, or self-sacrifice being replayed. Practical example. Juan wants a stable relationship, but only feels attracted to emotionally volatile partners, repeating the dynamic he had with his mother. dependence, incompetence, or abandonment schema. Constant self-critical thoughts, that inner voice telling you, you're not good enough, you're going to fail, or no one really likes you. These thoughts are directly linked to schemas. Practical example: Sophia goes to a party and spends the whole time thinking she's being judged and doesn't belong there. Social isolation, alienation schema. Self-sabotaging behaviors, procrastinating. Important tasks, avoiding intimacy, binge eating, using substances to cope with emotions. These are often ways to deal with, or avoid dealing with, the pain triggered by a schema. Practical example: Carlos has a great promotion opportunity, but forgets to send a crucial report, sabotaging himself out of fear he won't measure up. Failure schema. Pay close attention to your triggers. Which situations, people, or comments consistently set off your hardest emotions or most problematic behaviors? That's your clue to your dominant schema. Which of these signs do you recognize most in yourself? Share in the comments which pattern stands out to you. Knowing we're not alone in these patterns is very powerful. Okay, recognizing them is crucial. But the golden question is, what do you do after you realize a schema is running the show? Is it really possible to change such deep patterns? Yes, and we're going to see how to start. Changing schemas is a process, not a one-time event. It requires awareness and consistent practice. But you can start today with a few fundamental steps inspired by Schema Therapy. Name the enemy, the schema. Begin to identify and name the schema when it's triggered. Instead of just feeling the anxiety, say to yourself, okay, my abandonment. Schema just got triggered because my partner didn't reply to my message. Naming it takes away some of the diffuse power of the emotion. Practical action. Keep a schema journal. Write down the triggering situation, the intense emotion, the automatic thought. They're going to leave me, and the suspected schema. Validate the emotion. Question the thought. The pain caused by the schema is real and deserves validation. For example, it's understandable I feel anxious given my history, but the thought linked to the schema, they will definitely leave me, is probably a distortion. Start questioning it. What real evidence supports this? Are there other ways to interpret this? Practical action. Write down evidence for and against the schema's thought. Look for alternative, more realistic views of the situation. Connect with the unmet need. Beneath every schema lies a legitimate, emotional need that wasn't fulfilled in childhood. What is the need behind your triggered schema? For example, need for safety and abandonment, need for acceptance in defectiveness. Recognizing the need helps guide the healing. Practical action. Ask yourself, what did I really need in that original situation? What do I need now? Try small behaviors that go against the schema. This is the challenging but crucial part. If your failure schema makes you avoid challenges, try taking a small step toward one. If the subjugation schema makes you always say yes, practice saying no to a small request. These are behavioral experiments to show your brain that the catastrophic outcome predicted by the schema doesn't happen. Practical action. Pick a small behavior that goes against your main schema and commit to practicing it once in the next week. Start small. These steps are the beginning of a process of emotional re-education. Don't expect the schema to disappear overnight. The goal is to weaken it, reduce its frequency and intensity, and build a stronger, healthy adult to handle it. It might seem like a lot of work and takes courage. But what are the real benefits of embarking on this journey of understanding and challenging your schemas? Working with schemas isn't just about easing the pain, it's about unlocking a more authentic and fulfilling life. When you start to weaken your maladaptive schemas, what happens? Healthier relationships. You stop repeating the same destructive patterns. You're able to choose more compatible partners, communicate your needs assertively, and handle conflicts more constructively. The whole dynamic changes. Genuine self-esteem, self-criticism lessens. You begin to see yourself more realistically and compassionately, recognizing your strengths and accepting your imperfections. Validation starts to come more from within. Greater emotional resilience. Situations that once destabilized you lose some of their power. You develop a stronger ability to cope with frustrations, rejections, and challenges without being overwhelmed by schema-driven emotions. Conscious decision-making. Your choices, whether in career, life, or relationships, become guided more by your authentic values and desires, and less by the fears and limiting beliefs of your schemas. A sense of wholeness. That feeling of something missing starts to fade. You feel more connected to yourself, more alive, and more capable of pursuing what truly matters to you. You. Remember Maria, who felt like a fraud. Her defectiveness schema was loud and painful. But as she worked on it, she began to internalize positive feedback, take more professional risks, and feel genuine pride in her achievements. Her life expanded. Understanding and working with your schemasis, one of the deepest paths to self-knowledge and personal transformation. It's like taking off distorted glasses and starting to see yourself and the world with greater clarity. Today, we explored the fascinating and eye-opening world of schema therapy. We saw how invisible patterns, born in the past, might be shaping your present life. But more importantly, we saw that these patterns are not a life sentence. With awareness, validation, and deliberate practice, we can begin to challenge our deepest schemas and build a different path, one that's more aligned with who we truly are and the life we want. I want to invite you to take the first step right now, reflect, and share in the comments. Which schema do you suspect influences your life the most today? Just naming it is already a powerful act of awareness. If this dive into schema therapy brought you clarity or inspiration, please show your support with a like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey of deep self-discovery together. In our next video, we'll explore another universal pain, the need for approval. Why do we care so much about what others think? And how can we build validation from within? Don't miss it.